Hey everybody, welcome. I am Soundwave880 and welcome to the first episode of Fan Directed, where I, your host, will be looking back on old movies, forgotten movies, and just plain out bad movies. And I will be telling you what I would have done different or what I would do for a reboot. This just seems like a cool idea to do while you guys are waiting for me to finish up my stop motions, and it's a good way for me to work out my writing skills, since that's what I want to do someday. But I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time, so let's go ahead and dive into the first episode, because it's Morphin' Time!
Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go.
First step of this episode, why am I choosing to do a reboot of the live-action Power Rangers movie? So, let me just get down to the bare minimum of it. I love Power Rangers. It's a great show. I especially love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I just thought it was awesome how these teenagers got dressed up into some superhero costumes and they battled monsters and they got into a giant transformer robot when the monsters grew gigantic, and it always ended with a huge explosion. It was awesome. It was awesome. But unfortunately, much to my dismay, in 2017 they attempted to create a live-action Power Ranger movie. I didn't like it. I thought that they were trying too hard to make it a bit too hardcore, and overall they sort of took away the charm of the original show. Look guys, this is just my opinion. If some of you love the 2017 movie, don't spit out on me. Please keep all your nasty little comments out of the comment section. This is a rated G zone. Anywho, so I thought, what if we rebooted it? What if we went back and we tried it again, but this time try to make it a little bit more like the original show? I want to reintroduce the charm to it, while at the exact same time give it the grime and the gore and the battle action. You see what I'm saying? It's like what they're trying to do with Disney now. They're taking all of our beloved cartoons and they're trying to do that. Some of them have been failures, but in the beginning we actually got some pretty good movies out of them. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take stuff from the original and trying to make it into something new while adding a little bit more stuff to make it colorful. It's hard. I can see what Disney's trying to do, but honestly, I think if I actually listen to the fan inside of me, I might come up with something good. So let's not waste any more time here, because we're going into step 2. Alright guys, time for the casting. So I thought we should just jump ahead into it and cast our 5 main characters. I am of course referring to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I'm going off of the 1980s lineup, so we're gonna need our Jason, the Red Ranger, we're gonna need our Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, we're gonna need our Zach, the Black Ranger, we're gonna need Trini, the Yellow Ranger, and we're gonna need Billy, the Blue Ranger. So this inspiration struck me when I thought that these guys they're teens. They're teens with attitude, but for some reason, for over the years, they have been casting these teens by actual adults. I mean, these guys are like 25. They're like, some of them, like 27. There's no way any of these are feasible teens. You all should be in college, be married, go get a job, you slob. No, what we need are actual teens to play the teens with attitude. And with this day and age, we have so many talented and wonderful teenage actors. So I thought it would be awesome if we went ahead and casted the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as teens. For this to work right, I need you to know why I chose these actors. I thought back on watching the shows and I wondered, what if the colors mean something? What if they represent characteristics? Oh, but Soundwave 880! How can colors represent feelings, emotions, characteristics? They're just colors! I'm talking about the actors who played them over the years. They always sort of had something similar to each other. So I define the colors into 5 separate qualities that we can usually find in a team, and I use that to try to find the actors who will play the Power Rangers. We've got red, who is usually always the leader. We've got pink, who usually represents for gentleness or kindness within the group. We've got black, who is strength, true strength, not just someone who can bench to 100. No, we're looking for someone who has strength in heart, someone who's willing to stand by their people no matter what. We're looking for bravery in yellow, like someone who's just willing to face a monster. And then we've got blue for wisdom. These are sort of going back to the original characters. I feel they all describe these characteristics. So I use that, and I found these actors, and hopefully you guys will agree that these should be our Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Alright, first we're gonna need our Red Ranger, the Jason, who, as I stated before, is the leader of the group. I was just going back on some of my favorite movies and shows, and I was thinking, who's a leader? Who is a teen who has tried to stand with his group and just overall has the good qualities of being a leader? Then I thought, who better to lead the Power Rangers than the kid who led the Losers Club against Pennywise? I am of course referring to child star Jaden Martell. Yes, I think Jaden would work great for Jason. Plus they've both got J's in their name. Anywho, I just think Jaden has the right look to him. He does look a little bit like Jason, but actually a teen. So, plus, he did a really great job in leading the Losers Club. Yeah, I think Jaden is our guy to play Jason. Next, we're gonna need our Kimberly, our Pink Ranger of the group. And as I have stated, it's gotta be someone who can represent kindness and grace. Someone who can sort of be the heart of the Power Rangers. And that is why I have chosen McKenna Grace. Now, most of you are probably thinking of her in her role in Ghostbusters, the past 2 movies, where she has often been nerdy and rather mean-spirited. But I'm thinking of her role in Gifted. True, she was just a little girl back then, but especially now, today, that passion, that kindness, that grace that she had, I think she would make a spectacular Kimberly. And I hope you guys think so too. Next, Zach, the Rock, the strength of the Power Rangers. Someone with true strength, someone who is able to stand up for his friends even when times get tough. That is why I have chosen Caleb McLaughlin. Clagan? I don't know. Anywho, I just know that he was awesome in Stranger Things, especially in Season 4. I bet that he could work as Zach in Power Rangers just because of the way he was able to show strength in those times, especially for Sam and his friends. Yes, I do believe he would make a terrific Zach. For the Yellow Ranger, I wanted to choose someone who can be brave. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to have fear and still do what needs to be done. So who better to play the role for that than the fabulous star of Wednesday and the past couple of Scream movies? I am talking about Jenna Ortega. This girl is fire. I love her in everything that I've seen her in, and I believe that she would be a fabulous Trini. She is so talented and passionate in her roles, and she has often proved that she can be brave as the final girl, or whatever girl she is in her movies. Yes, there is no doubt in my mind that she should be our Yellow Ranger. Finally, it's time for the Blue Ranger, Wisdom. But overall, I feel this character could always be the smart one, and in my personal opinion, I would like him to have just a little bit of nerdiness. Someone who often makes Star Wars references or Star Trek references, and is just sometimes goofy at how smart yet socially dumb he is. So I think that this role would best be suited for Jack Dylan Grazer, most known for his role in Shazam. I just think with those curls that he has in his hair and his superhero nerdiness that he had, he would be great. He would be great as Billy. And he was so good in Shazam with all of his fervor and his just willingness to go on. Like, I mean, I sometimes actually thought that he needed those. Oh boy. So yeah, I think that's who should play Billy, and that is concluding our 5 Power Rangers. Now, it's time to get to the villain. Rita Repulsa was never my favorite Power Ranger villain. I often find her shrill tone to be annoying, and I never found her that threatening. True, she was a very powerful witch, and she had Vinster create some of the most memorable monsters in the entire series, but she was very comical looking in that fat dress. Yeah. For Power Ranger villains, I just had another one in mind. One who was completely sinister, evil, and just showed true, unrivaled darkness. But since this is the first movie, we're going with Rita anyway. Now, I don't want just any person to play Rita. Even though she's not my favorite villain, I feel there is a lot of growth for this character to be made. That is why I have chosen the most qualified person. Someone who made one of the side villain roles in Harry Potter one of the most memorable and evil witches to be in the series. I am, of course, referring to Helena Bonham Carter, the actress for Bellatrix Lestrange. Wow, she was awesome in Harry Potter and just so wicked. I mean, gosh, the way she killed Sirius, I hated her so much. That's the thing about her. We love to hate her because she can just pull off the villain so good. And since she already did so well as a witch, why not play another? I think she would be awesome as Rita Repulsa, and I know somewhere down there, all of you fans of Helena believe the exact same thing. Next, we're gonna need our mentor to the Power Rangers, the guy who brought them all together, Zordon. Now, since Zordon is never really on screen that much, other than a giant head in a tube, I feel it's more about voice than it is about the actor. But I'm choosing someone who is both a great on-stage actor and someone whose voice is just magnificent. Someone who sounds wise and old and actually just the perfect model of a leader for a group. And I am, of course, referring to Ian McKellen, the guy for Gandalf and also Magneto. But boy, this guy, he's getting on in his years, it's sad to say, but his voice still rocks, and I believe that he would be an awesome Zordon for this role. Like, I mean, everything about him just screams the wise. Zordon, the wise. And where would Zordon be without his little robot droid, Alpha 5? For Alpha, I wanted someone who could do a lot of what the Alpha 5 did in the original series. Just the guy who can go, ay 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 ay, Zordon, there's a giant monster attacking Angel Grove. Ay ay ay. Like, I mean, I can totally see this guy doing exactly that because he's pulled so many funny roles like that over the years. True, some people may find Alpha to be annoying, and I grant them that, but with some twerks to his character, I believe that we can make a genuinely funny Alpha 5, especially with Keegan-Michael Key pulling the reins. Yes, Keegan-Michael Key, who just recently played Bumblebee in the awesome Transformers 1 movie. Go see that. Go see that now. But besides the point, Keegan-Michael Key would make such a great Alpha 5. Like, I mean, he's already got great experience being a robot, and other than that, he's just a funny actor. And I can totally see him pulling the I line to perfection. Yes, Keegan-Michael Key needs to be Alpha 5. Alright, now we're just gonna dive back into the villains of Power Rangers, because where would Rita Repulsa be without her henchmen? Her stupid, dumb, arrogant henchmen. We're gonna have two of those guys in here just because we need those henchmen. But of course, we're gonna first talk about the one that Rita always has as her lieutenant. I am, of course, talking about Goldar. Awesome, scary looking Goldar. At first I thought he was a wolf in gold armor, but then I discovered he is nothing more than a flying monkey from the Wizard of Oz in gold armor. But still, Goldar is awesome. Just his gruff, angry voice, always ready to take on the Power Rangers. Yeah! I love Goldar, okay? So that's why we need a great actor who has done many great villain roles in the past to play him. And I am, of course, gonna say Ron Perlman. The guy who did phenomenal as the Lich from Adventure Time. But obviously his Lich voice is not gonna be great when it comes to Goldar, because even though it's a great voice, it's dead. Which is perfect for the Lich, but still, Goldar is not a walking corpse. No, I am referring to his role in Tangled as those giant, angry, criminal twin brothers. Their gruffness in there was awesome. He did a great job as those twins. And so I definitely think Ron Perlman should be our Goldar. True, he's getting up in years, just like Ian McKellen, but I still think that he could pull the armor for Goldar. And I'm not gonna do what they did in the 2017 film. I'm not gonna stick him as a CGI gold monster. No, we need to bring back the times when a guy could dress up as a flying monkey and wear it proudly on stage, because costumes still work. costumes still work. Like, I mean, the orcs from Lord of the Rings, they were not CGI. They were awesome. They were awesome because they were guys with makeup. And we can pull that with Goldar because we did in the original series. So we can do it again. Why not? Goldar is awesome, and we need to bring Goldar back. Not this giant gold behemoth. My Goldar. My flying monkey. And even though we have Goldar in here, we're gonna need monsters. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about bringing back some of the original monsters for this movie. True, they're weird. True, their designs are dumb. And their names are even dumber. But they are just so cool in their fights. And I love them. And Rita will never have her monsters unless she has her little dog minion scientist, Vinster. Vinster, he's just this fun little Mr. Smee of Rita Repulsa's crew. He's always there for that evil witch when she needs him. And he's always got these new designs for monsters because it's his favorite hobby. True, he's just this gentle little old dog man, but at the same time he takes pleasure in seeing the destruction and the suffering of Angel Grove. It is just this weird complex, and I find that highly enjoyable in Vinster. So I think for Vinster, we just need a small guy to play him. Like, I mean, wouldn't it be funny if Rita Repulsa just towers over Vinster because he's this little dog man? And I know the perfect little guy to play him. We need Peter Dinklage. Yes, the guy from Elf. Oh my gosh, I think he would rock as Vinster. And we probably don't even need that giant dog head that they had in the series. We could probably do some good makeup with him, and we could make a pretty good Vinster. And I can just see him. He has this gruff little voice, and yet at the same time he can pull that charming little mood that Vinster has. Yes, Peter Dinklage is our Vinster. That's how it's gonna roll. Now obviously, I was never going to create a Power Rangers movie without Lord Zed. Yes, Rita is going to be the main antagonist for this, but even back in the original series, she was always just a minion for Lord Zed, always sent to Earth to do his bidding. Lord Zed is the Power Ranger villain. Sure, we can come up with all these losers for the next few years, but everyone is going to remember Lord Zed. He is just this muscled corpse who just lost all of his flesh, and he's got these tubes running about him, and his mask, his awesome mask, and his voice. Power Rangers, you are no match for me. The Zeo Crystal will be mine. Earth will be mine. All hail Lord Zed! Yes, Lord Zed is the Power Rangers villain. There was no way he was never gonna make this movie. Sure, he's gonna have limited scenes. He's mostly just gonna be the foreboding main villain in the background, like Thanos was for most of the Avengers timeline. But overall, Lord Zed will be in this series, and I can think of nobody better to play him than Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker? No, I'm thinking of him from the Joker. I do not want him to use the same Joker voice that he did. I want there to be that sinisterness, but I was thinking more of Fire Lord Ozai. You know, just this commanding demeanor while being absolutely ruthless. I definitely think Mark Hamill should play Lord Zed, and I'm thinking more of the voice role for him. Since Lord Zed is just covered, he's gonna be totally covered in a costume. Like, I mean, his skin is dead and peeled away, so that's gonna be costume. He's got his metal fingertips and his metal chest plate and his metal mask, and there's a brain. You can see his brain. Yeah, he's gonna be covered. So we can have some muscle-bound dude play the action person for Lord Zed, but the voice is always going to be Mark Hamill, because that's what people are going to remember besides the costume. They're going to remember the voice of Lord Zed, and it deserves to be Mark Hamill. Obviously, we're always going to remember Mark Hamill for being Luke Skywalker, but he is going to go down in history as one of the most evil actors in history, playing Fire Lord Ozai, playing Joker, playing Skeletor. Mark Hamill was destined to play Lord Zed. Now, for the next two, I'm just doing them at the same time because you can never split up these two. We're gonna need our Bulk and Skull. I thought it was a huge problem that they never had them in the live action movie. True, there were bullies, but none of them could have been our Bulk and Skull, because these two, oh boy, they are just the best form of a bully. Like, I mean, that came out so wrong. I am so sorry. No, I mean everything wrong with a bully. Like, I mean, they try to mess around with the Power Rangers all the time, but in the end, they just do the most goofy and dumb stuff. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And that is why the Power Rangers will always need Bulk and Skull. So these two that I've chosen actually come from the same series, but they do such great teamwork together that you should never split them up. For Bulk, I'm just gonna say it, we're gonna need a big guy, alright? Because that's what Bulk is, he's the big guy. So, also, since later in the series he sort of becomes more lovable than mean, we're gonna need someone who can be aggressive, but also fun to be around. So, obviously, I went with the obvious choice and chose Gaten Matarazzo. Jeez, why do these guys always have such weird last names? Anyways, I'm of course referring to his role in Stranger Things. Oh my gosh, he did so great in there. He is just this fun guy, and he's a great actor. And I think he could pull Bulk off to perfection, especially near the end of the movie. You'll see why. Next, we're gonna need his best friend and cohort in crime, Skull. And for Skull, we're gonna need someone tall, someone thin, and someone who actually looks sort of almost goth-like. You know, just with that black hair and the just overall thinness. So since they already work so well together, and he's got the perfect look for him, and is a great actor, I chose Finn Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard, like, I mean, I think you can see it. You can see it with that hair, with that thinness. And he's a great actor, like I said. Like, both of them, they were obviously the bullied ones in Stranger Things, but I definitely think if the tables were turned, they could be the bullies. Oh, this sounds awful, but so right at the exact same time. Like, I mean, these two should be our Bulk and Skull. No way around it. This guy is gonna have a really small role in the movie, but I feel that he is necessary because he was always there in the Power Rangers series. I am, of course, referring to Ernie. Just this big, lovable guy who owns the smoothie shop of Angel Grove. So I thought, who better to play it than the guy who risked his life protecting the mall and the people he loved dear. I am, of course, referring to Paul Blart Mall Cop. I mean Kevin James. Kevin James is just this awesome actor who I feel could definitely pull off Ernie. Like, I mean, obviously he wouldn't have that much screen time, but everywhere he goes, this guy just has this nice demeanor around him. He just seems like an overall nice guy, and I believe that he could play Ernie to perfection. Last but not least, we need the cameo character. The guy that's gonna want people to come back for the sequel. And the perfect main surface around for the sequel. I am, of course, referring to Tommy Oliver, the future Green Ranger. And I thought the best character for this would be Jacob Hopkins. Jacob Hopkins, you ask? You probably haven't seen him in really any live action movies except probably Middle School. Yeah, not a great movie, but everybody knows his voice from The Amazing World of Gumball. But no, I'm actually thinking of his role in Middle School. Like, I mean, he was this high schooler who was getting into trouble, and like for the right reasons, but overall he was just this disobedient teen, and I think he could do Tommy really well. Like, I mean, he certainly got the face for it. So yeah, I believe that Jacob could be our Tommy. For the sake of time, that is where we will end If I Directed Power Rangers the live action movie. Thank you so much for watching. This will only be part 1 of a 2-part episode. This is how I will be doing all If I Directed episodes. The first episodes will always be the fan cast, and the second will always be If I Had Done the Plot. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and share. And please just let me know what you would want me to do for If I Directed in the future. Please come back for the next episode, and I can't wait to see you all there.